Hi everyone, coffee time again. So if you haven't seen one of these before, this is just me and my layman's view of the world, based on what I see in social media. Something comes across my path, it's in a magazine, it's in a TV show, it's in a movie, just that sort of view. I'm not here to offend anyone, and if the subject isn't something you're comfortable with, then please just stop the video and move on, because I don't want to offend anyone. This is just my, as I said, my layman's view. So today's topic: do we really like change? I mean, there are people out there, and I'm probably one of them, who goes, yes, I really like change. I embrace change. I develop with it. Yeah. Do we really like change? I once went to a workshop. At one point, I was a company director's PA. And part of the training was I actually needed to go on different courses, and some of these courses were in basically handling people situations, because obviously he was the company director of a very big company, so he wielded a lot of power, and as his personal PA I equally carried quite a bit of power or influence because I controlled so much. I mean, it was a multi-million-dollar company, so I did control a lot of things. I could make things happen and not happen, obviously all with his knowledge. I'm not going to go running and just change the world. However, I did do quite a lot of courses in managing people's expectations, in managing situations, managing conflict, time management, organizational management, dealing with third parties. You get the gist. So one of the courses I actually went on, one of the topics was managing change. And I thought, oh, I'm okay with change. I like change. I very much do go, if I need to change, I change. But like everyone, I think I do buck a little bit against it. That's nice. I do buck a little bit against it. And they did an exercise at the beginning of the day, which I found it was an interesting exercise, probably one you can do now. So if you wear a wristwatch, okay, I normally wear a wristwatch, it's on my left wrist. At the beginning of the course, they made us all take our wristwatches off and put it on the other wrist. And it was interesting to see that by the first coffee break, how many people had actually secretly put their watch back on the other side. By lunchtime, how many people had actually put it on the other side. And by the middle of the afternoon, pretty much 99% of people had put the watch back on the other side because it didn't feel comfortable to us. And I find that part of the process of change is feeling uncomfortable. I find I'm speaking more of an artist now, okay, because as you know, I do creative things. I do mixed media, I do artwork, I do digital work, I do cake decorating and design. I do lots of creative things, and I have experienced myself that if I'm on a level and everything feels comfortable, it's boring. The moment I start struggling with things, my instinct is to go back to what I was doing before. However, it was explained to me that the struggle we go through and the rough patches are actually just a transitional stage to the next level, or to the next part, or to the next pathway you're about to go on. Am I comfortable with accepting that? Not always, heck no. I try to accept it. My instinct is it's that fight or flight thing. If it's something I'm really uncomfortable with, I either fight against it and try to not do it, or I just go in a completely different direction, hoping that it doesn't catch up with me. That's my natural instinct, and I think a lot of us are very much the same. However, the moment you become resigned to the fact that, it's going to happen, for some reason it gets easier all of a sudden. And we base our lives on repetition and habits. We may not think of ourselves as having a structure, but we all have a personal structure we hang our lives upon. We usually get up or set our alarm for approximately the same time every day. Normally, even if your alarm clock doesn't ring, you wake up at about that same time. I mean, there are exceptions to every rule. There's people doing split shifts, there's people doing night shifts, there's people who travel a lot, but I'm talking in general. We normally have our routine. Do we wake up, go and clean our teeth, have a shower, put our clothes on, go downstairs, have a breakfast, cup of coffee, and start our day? Or do we get up, go out into the garden, or go downstairs, have a cigarette, cup of coffee, come up, then have a shower and get changed? You see what I mean? And if you look at your life, you probably eat lunch at roughly the same time every day. You probably eat your evening meal at probably the same time every day. If you go to your local supermarket or grocery store, which is the one you usually go to, you usually go down the same aisles every time. Now, I'm preaching to the converted because we all know this isn't rocket science. But you know what? When you get that shopping trolley and you walk into your grocery store, instead of turning left, why not turn right the next time? Find out how uncomfortable that feels. That's sort of an indicator as how much we don't like change. I must admit, when I get out of a routine, I almost get panicked. And when I get panicked, I tend to get angry at things because I'm no longer in control. And I am a person who likes to control things. I'm OCD. I'm a bit of a control freak, but I control me. I try not to control other people because that's not my thing. It's me I need to control. I like to control my immediate environment. And if something changes, I tend to feel panicked. I tend to feel really anxious about it. But I'm also aware that, I'm sat in my craft cave here with everything I use to film, to create my art pieces. And I have found that over time, the things in this room have had to change to be where I need them to be within arm's reach. I often joke that my creative space is a bit like the bridge of the Starship Enterprise. I can sit in this chair at this creative table and pretty much reach within arm length everything I use on a regular basis. Then behind me is, as you'll see, there's a whole bookcase of stuff there, and my desk is down there, and there's a filing cabinet over there, there's another. This side of the room is my creative side. That side of the room is my business side. And again, I can sit at that desk and pretty much reach everything I need to function at that time doing the business or admin side of my business. But if I have to move something around in this room, it really throws me. I can't function properly. However, I'm equally as accepting of if I'm doing something and I keep going, oh, I've got to reach for that again. I will actually go, right, I need to change that. And it may take me a day or two to look around and go, how can I change this? And I'll try things out. But this room has now settled into a format that works for me. And it was an easy transition, an easy change because it makes sense. Sometimes things don't make sense. Like, let's see, last year I changed my car. Now, I used to drive a Ford Focus, which is a car that's quite low to the ground and not an expanse of space inside. It's quite a roomy car, quite nippy on the road as well. It's almost like a sporty car. Well, it's as sporty as I was ever going to get anyway. However, because of doing TV shows and things like that, oh, excuse me, coffee's repeating. Doing TV shows, exhibitions, teaching, I needed a bigger car that had more space within it. I also, because I'm 62 years old, or I am at the time of filming this, I was finding the Ford Focus was a little low to the ground. I was like, you know what, I need something more comfortable to get in and out. So I went and bought a Ford Cougar, which is a bit of a four-wheel drive SV, what is it, SUV? It's one of those anyway. It's higher, I get in and out easier. The back seats fold down flat, so it's almost like a van when I've taken the back seats down. However, when I sat in that and looked at the controls and the dashboard, and I was like, it's taken me a long time to embrace the change in the layout of my car. So much so that even over a year on, there are buttons I haven't pressed. There are probably attributes to that car that I haven't enhanced because I'm like, I'm not touching that button. I don't need that button. I don't need to know that button. I'll ignore that button. I don't know. And I find it was a real struggle to change to accepting that car. Also, even though the car is no wider, I think it's only 4 inches longer, all of a sudden the car felt like I was driving a tank. And parking it became an issue because I'm used to the size of the car I had before, and now I'm trying to park a tank within a space. So, and it's me, it's all psychological. I know it's psychological, but I resisted for a very long time. I kept going, the car's too big, the car's too big, the car's too big. And then over time, the car started to shrink, and now the car feels right. It was just my resistance to change. So I think that we need to not view change as a bad thing. We need to view change as more of a development, a stepping stone to something else, a way to affect the future. I've said before, we can't affect the past, but we can affect the future. Sometimes change is for good, sometimes change is for bad, and only we can make the decision as to which one of those is. I think the natural instinct is to think change is for the worst, when actually it could be for the betterment of ourselves or our family or our work situation. I think we need to not be as quick to judge change. I think we just need to go, you know what, it's time to change, and don't do what I do. Don't go into panic mode. Don't go into this spiral of just shutting down. Just sit back and actually go, okay, exactly what is changing? And you'll probably find it's not a huge thing that's changing. Granted, there are some earth-shattering changes people go through, whether it's medical, whether it's family, whether it's geographical, whether it's industrial. I mean, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the things that affect our day-to-day lives that we can have some sort of control over. So next time you think change is creeping up on you, maybe don't fight or flight. Maybe take a few seconds to go, is it really that bad? How much is it really affecting you? I mean, I'm a list person. Make a list. Pros, cons, or pros, cons, whichever way you're watching on the screen, and write down the good points and the bad points. It's a bit of a trick. It will help you get all of your worries out of your brain and onto paper, and you can analyse lists and then go, you know what? I don't mind losing that, and that, if I'm gaining that, and that. And also change, you don't have to go through it on your own. Talk to a friend, talk to family, talk to someone who may already have gone through that sort of change. Talk to somebody or do a bit of research. That's another good one. Like, I'm a bit of an IT. I don't like IT. Technology scares me. I don't understand it fully. I use it, but I know what I know. So if I'm having to take on a new bit of software, or there's a new version of my iPad coming out, or my MacBook needs an update or something, I will very often go on to YouTube or something and watch a dozen or so videos on the subject, just so I have a better understanding to base my decisions on. So hopefully that's a subject you want to think about. I'm not sure everyone will agree with me. I'm not sure I'm qualified to speak on change as far as all different levels go, because I'm not qualified in it. I've just know my experiences of it. So until next time, guys, have a good one. Bye now.